How to log Spring 5 web client call. This follows the same teaching style as your earlier Spring Boot topic. Introduction. In Spring Boot applications using Spring WebFlux, HTTP calls are often made using WebClient. Unlike the older REST template, WebClient is non-blocking and reactive. However, developers often face a challenge. How do we log request and response details of a web client call? For example, you may want to log request URL, HTTP method, headers request body, response status, response body. This is especially important for debugging API issues, monitoring external calls, troubleshooting failures, auditing requests. This topic helps learners understand how web client works different ways to log requests, responses, how to use filters, how to log body safely, best practices. This is a very practical Spring WebFlux concept. What does logging web client call mean? It means capturing details of HTTP requests and responses made using web client. In simple terms, web client call means log request, means log response, means debug easily. Example concept. App calls API means logs request, means logs response, means helps debugging. Why this is important? Without logging, debugging becomes difficult. Failures are hard to trace. Request details are unknown. Response issues are unclear. Example concept. No logs means no visibility, means hard troubleshooting. Basic web client example. Web client equals webclient.create. String response equals webclient.get.URI https://api.example.com/data. Body to mono string class. This works, but logs nothing by default. Method 1. Enable reactor netty logging. Quick way. Spring Web Client uses reactor netty by default. Enable logging. Logging.level.reactor.netty.http.client equals debug. Logging.level.org.springframework.web.reactive.function.client equals debug. Example concept. Internal HTTP client logs request, response details. What you get: request line headers response status limitation. Body is not fully logged. Logs may be hard to read. Method 2. Using ExchangeFilterFunction. Best approach. This is the most recommended way. Logging request. Private ExchangeFilterFunction log request. Return ExchangeFilterFunction of request processor. Client request. System out print line. Request plus client request method plus client request URL. Client request headers for each name values. Values for each value too. System out print line. Name plus value. Return client request. Value H plus CCAP special. Unlogging response. Private ExchangeFilterFunction log response. Return ExchangeFilterFunction of response processor, client response. System.println, response status, client response status code. Client response.headers as HTTP headers. For each name, values. Values.foreachvalue.system.println name plus value. Return mono.just client response. Return mono.just client response. Xtrays and web client builder. Filter log response. Build. Request means filter logs request, means API call, means filter logs response. Method 3. Logging request and response body. Logging body is more complex because web client is reactive. Example webclient.get.URI https://api.example.com/data.retrieve.body to mono string class .doOnNextBody system.out.println response body plus body. Response received means body consumed means logged. Important warning. Body can be consumed only once. If you log it incorrectly, you may break the stream. Method 4. Using .exchange to mono, webclient.get, URI, https, example.com/data. Exchange to mono, response, walkmean, system.println, status.response status code. Return response.body to mono, string.class, doOnNextBody, system.println, body.body. Method 5. Use logging framework. Instead of system.out, use private static final logger. Log equals loggerFactory.getLogger, myClass.class. Example, log.info, request is comma, client request.url. Example concept. Proper logging means better control, means production ready. Method 6. Enable wiretap. Advanced. HTTP client. HTTP client.create. Wiretap true. WebClient equals WebClient.builder. Client connector new reactor client HTTP connector HTTP client build. With logging level.reactor.net equals debug. What you get full request response details, low-level network logs. Limitation, very verbose, not recommended for production. Logging request body. 4. Post. WebClient.post.URI API.body value request body.do on subscribe sub log info sending request body. Example concept. Log request before sending. Logging errors. WebClient.get URI/API. Retrieve body to mono string class. Do on error log error. Example full setup. WebClient WebClient.builder. Filter log request. Filter log response. Best practices include: use ExchangeFilterFunction for logging. Log only necessary fields. Avoid logging sensitive data. Avoid logging large payloads in production. Use logging framework. SLF4J. Enable debug logs only when needed. Example concept. Balanced logging means good debugging plus good performance. Common mistakes. 1. Using system.out.println. Not suitable for production. 2. Logging body incorrectly. May break reactive stream. 3. Logging sensitive data. Passwords, tokens, etc. 4. Enabling debug logs in production can affect performance. 5. Ignoring error logging. Missed failures. Advantages: better debugging, improved observability, easier troubleshooting, visibility into external APIs, better monitoring. Challenges: reactive complexity, body logging, difficulty, performance impact, avoiding duplicate consumption. Concepts learned in this topic. Check. How web client works. Check. How to log requests and responses. Check. How to use filters. Check. How to log body safely. Check. How to handle errors. Best practices. Simple definition. Logging web client call. Capturing request and response details of HTTP calls made using Spring WebClient. Final summary. To log web client calls, the best approach is: use filters. WebClient.builder. Filter log request. Filter log response. Build. Enable debug logging if needed. Logging level reactor netty equals debug. Check log response body carefully using reactive operators. Key ideas. Web client is reactive, means logging must respect stream behavior. Filters are the best method. Avoid consuming body multiple times. Use proper logging practices. Once you understand this, you can effectively debug and monitor web client calls.